right, we are live, and I'm just checking things out right now. And I see that we've got a couple folks. BD Cosmos, Julian's here. I see RJ Forrester's here, and we've got looks like about 30 viewers right now. So that's pretty exciting. So welcome to the all new Managed Comics 2.0 live stream. So we're gonna talk about our launch. We're gonna talk about what's new, what's different. And why this is the best version of Managed Comics yet, and what we think is one of the best products out there. So let's just start off by talking a little history. So Managed Comics has been around since 2015. We launched it basically as a enhancement to a website that I used to co-run with my partner Pete, All New Comics, and the first version of Managed Comics was really quite simple. It just helped us manage the subscriptions for customers. I sold my interest in Managed Comics way back in 2011, by the way. So I do not own a store. I don't have a vested interest in like making my store better than other people's. I'm here for everyone. So I think that's a big important thing that I really want to get out of the way, like right up front, is that I'm not doing this for my own self-interest, other than wanting to create a really great product. Broken Jago says, how long is this expected to take? We're looking at probably half an hour, maybe 45 minutes, but we're going to also have everything online. Oh, I'm a little quiet apparently. Let me crank up my mic a little bit and see if is that any better? Am I better yet? It's hard to hear me. Am I louder? How's this? Is this better? Yes? No? Volume is very low. Are things better now? Because my volume's looking quite... Oh my goodness. Alright, well, necessity is the mother of invention. No better, it says here. So let me see if I can change... Let me see if I can change this. Oh, it's grabbing the wrong sound. Sorry, 1 second, guys. So it's using the wrong microphone. Oh, that's crazy. Okay, so I'm good now. Awesome. Sorry about that. Okay, so getting back to Managed Comics, and sorry, I seem to have some phantom audio going on. So let me find out. There we go. All right, so getting back to Managed Comics 2.0. Yeah, so we basically last year, during the pandemic, we realized that there was a number of things that we needed to change. First of all, multiple distributors changed the entire game. So having Lunar and UCS changed everything about what we were doing. So we had to create a database for all that. And during that time, we started really working with stores on getting them online. If you remember in the early days of the pandemic, there was a lot of like curbside pickup and stuff. So we worked with stores to get them online, and that involved us actually using Shopify. And so we already had this cool database that we were using, and so we were like, hey, we could tweak that database and make it create products for Shopify. So we did that really quickly, and it was quite good. We did a number of revisions on that, but during that, things started changing my mind, and I was like, hybrid retail is the future of the industry, and not just the comics industry, but retail in general. So the big thing about hybrid retail is that it's a combination of online and offline. So when you kind of hybridize those things and you have an online store that can also facilitate offline sales, I think that's like the best of both worlds. So ideally, what would happen is Wednesday morning when everything's allowed to go on sale, at 8 a.m., 2 hours before you even open, people have already gone online, bought the books that they want, and when they walk into the store, boom, they're ready to pay for them, and they don't even have to pick them up on Wednesday because they've already paid for them. You've got your money. Now you can just fulfill that throughout the week. So that's really kind of the vision behind what we thought we would start to work towards. So we integrated with Shopify for our Managed Comics 2.0 product. And what that means is that Managed Comics is now an app inside of Shopify, which allows you to use the Shopify point of sale. It lets you use brick and click. I love that. It allows you to use all the Shopify tools and apps that are in there, plus the Shopify point of sale. Or you could use one of our partners, Binder POS, who also integrate with Shopify. So let's stop me chatting and let's just show you how cool this is. So we're going to start out. This is my little example shop. This is actually a Shopify store. So all these products here are Shopify products. And one of the very first things you're going to notice is that we've got this cool little subscribe to this series button. So every single product in your store now has become a conduit into subscriptions. So we could subscribe to X-Men #2. Everything is tied off of your FOCs now. So if somebody subscribes to X-Men #1 after it's already been FOC'd, well, they won't be able to it won't be fulfilled, and they'll get a notification saying this is not part of your subscriptions. I'm kind of jumping ahead to the subscriptions page, but let's go back to the products page. We also have subscriptions for trade paperbacks now, which we never had before. And right now we're only offering A and B covers. As we get more data into our system and are able to kind of identify the ratioed variants, we're going to start doing a lot more with variants. But let's get to the good stuff. So this is actually the subscriptions page. So what's super cool about this, and that I'm really proud of our team of code elves, this page right here is all being generated through our database. So none of this stuff actually exists on your store, which is super cool because we're not jamming 3,500 new products into your store every month. We're not having you try and decide, okay, this month I'm going to deal with, Penguin Random House. For this, I'm going to deal with Diamond. This will all magically happen. So if I were to go through here and I'll look at Action Lab, we've got 11 products. So these are only showing active products, and we consider an active subscription to be a comic that has come out in the last 3 months. If it hasn't come out in the last 3 months, we're going to consider it an inactive product, and we won't let people sign up for it. However, there's going to be some exceptions to the rule, like Saga, for example, that we know at some point is going to come back. And if you have a new subscriber come from like an old store or something, they're going to want to just subscribe to Saga. So definitely there's some intelligence behind the scenes in how we deal with products. So I can go to the Citizen here, and I can subscribe to the Citizen. You're going to see some cool debug information. This is really kind of behind the scenes stuff for us as we're doing our tests and everything. So as a customer, I can subscribe to the main cover of Citizen #1, and it's that easy. We looked at the competition, and honestly, looking at some of them, I'm not going to speak ill of anybody, but I found that you needed like a PhD in subscribology in order to figure out how you were going to subscribe to something. So we wanted to make things super simple. As you get to the multiple covers things, and let's go to our friends at, I jumped into something fun there too. If we go to our friends at Marvel, we're going to have multi-covers here. So when I subscribe to a B cover, a little pop-up comes up and I choose it. I think we're going to change the entire subscription process so that it's all done through a little pop-up. I think it'll just kind of make things a little bit easier. So going back to my subscriptions, I can see everything that I'm subscribed to. I'm subscribed to a lot of different things. You see that I'm subscribed to Ant cover A, Ant cover B, X Corp cover B and cover A. So as a customer, I can see quickly what I'm subscribed to. Pre-orders are one-time things. So for example, a hardcover, the Batman Fortnite hardcover will come up. We can also browse by release dates, so I can see the new books that just came out this week, or I can see by FOCs, and I can subscribe to things that are on this week's FOC. So for example, Crime Syndicate number 6 is on this week's FOC. I can subscribe to Crime Syndicate in one click. Sorry guys, I see a ton of questions coming in, and I'm going to get to everybody's questions, so please keep on asking them. My partner Craig is in the chat right now, so when we get through some of this stuff, I will go through and answer questions. And yeah, anyway, this is the front end, and this is the part that your customers see. So like I said, this is all built into your store. You don't have to do anything. All these products are being generated for you. So we're pulling in about 3,500 products. We're currently working with Penguin Random House, Diamond, and Lunar. I've also been in talks with Universal for my Canadian friends, and we're going to be working with those guys too. They're undergoing a ton of changes right now, so they're a little bit yeah, they're a little overtaxed right now, but they've definitely made some plans to work with us. And the good news is all of their data is Diamond and Lunar, so it's super easy for us to integrate with. Before I go into the admin side, let me just go through some of our questions here. Oh, my volume was terrible. I'm sorry. Would subscribing to so Big B Comics, this is probably Dylan, asked, would subscribing to a variant automatically link it to the primary series or subscribe it to the variant series code? So it that's a great question. So if you notice when I subscribe to a variant, I get a thing that says fulfill with main cover if B cover not available. So by default, those won't be fulfilled with the main cover if the B cover isn't available. So that it would just be it's subscribed to the series code with the variant number. You'll see that we've got our own series codes, so we're building our own series codes so that we don't have to deal with Lunar and Diamond having competing series codes. Question number 2 from Ed. I'm not dealing with third party from Marvel and DC, so not UCS. Will this still work for us? Yep, it will. So on the back ends, we'll have selections for which distributors you're going to use. So an example is in Canada, we can use Universal for everything. So those folks that are using Universal will get that option. We're also going to kind of streamline it so that not everyone's getting all the options. So if you're in the United States, you're not going to see Universal as a potential distributor. We'll also, as things go on, like I want to work with Hachette, I want to work with Ingram, all the other dudes, and then because we have everything stored as UPC numbers and ISBNs, we're really, really easily able to kind of like tie everything together so you're not double ordering on anything. Next question. Sam from Dreamers. With the addition of TPB subscriptions, will Managed Comics be able to be available? Will manga subscriptions be available? Yes, manga subscriptions are now available. In addition to subscribe, can the user buy a single copy or multiple copies of a single copy? Great question. Not today, but within the next month they will. Honestly, the only thing that's stopping us is I need to get through my head what the user interface looks like. We have the ability to do that. It's simple because it's the difference between a single code and a series code. The only problem is I'm trying to make everything as simple as possible for the end user. And like I said, like I went through Pullbox and I just don't understand it. So there's nothing there that I can leverage from like a usability point of view. So we're just trying to figure out how we're going to do that. And we'll do that in the next month while we're using beta testers to actually try things out. Okay, CGC Emporium. If we already have a Shopify shop, are we able to use Migrate to Managed Comics? Also, will the UK market be supported? Absolutely. So this is what's super cool. This is an app in the Shopify ecosystem. So you will just add the app and boom, Managed Comics will be part of your store. How cool is that? So yeah, absolutely. Will the UK market be supported? Yes, in phase 2. And when is phase 2? We're probably looking at like August September, just because you guys have some very specific challenges. And the specific challenges are really around Diamond UK and the fact that Diamond UK is holding their cards very close to their vest and won't give us all the data we need. So I've been working with Josh Jeppy to try and get that information in order to make things better. But we'll keep working. Is there an option to buy just a single issue? Yeah. If person subscribes after FOC, will it pull it from inventory? Great question. It will just not pull it right now. So we don't have the ability to, and that's probably something we can add, is like kind of a want list instead of a subscription list for folks that have added something after FOC. In UK, lots of items not available over here. Yeah, so what's cool about our database is that we actually know geographically what's available, what's not. So we'll be able to uncheck things that aren't available. Also, I'm going to show you a really cool trick that you can do in the admin to not show everything in your database. This includes support for manga. Yes, it includes full support for manga. So do the products that show up for subscriptions get added as a Shopify product? That is, yeah. So just wait. That's we're going to get to that in a second. In terms of search, so the series are not going to show up in your overall search. We built our own search, so I can do like Batman number 111. So if I want to search for Batman, I can subscribe to Batman right through the search here. So this is a separate search that's really only searching the managed comic stuff. Yeah, and that's where we are. Get out of this. Will customers be charged automatically? So right now, customers can't be charged automatically. However, we do create draft orders, and those draft orders, we're working to get those into your POS system, so that when a customer comes in, you can just pull up their entire list of stuff and just boom, charge them for it. So at this time, they can't be charged automatically just because of some restrictions on the Shopify end, although we're going to work on that and see what we can do. All right, let me get to the admin side. 17 minutes in, and we're, of course, like 5 of those were just me not being able to talk because I didn't have the right mic on. So right now you're seeing the admin side of the world. So let's just go through a couple things real quick. First of all, we're going to see some products. So these products were all imported when I did some pulls recently. So what's super cool about this is I did my pulls, and at the end of the pulls, it just created these products. So it creates the products, it creates them with product types, with vendors. We have an entire tagging system so that you can actually add genres and writers and publishers. We also bring in your cost of goods sold so you know what your margin is on every product. We bring in your barcodes and your SKUs so that you can keep track of them. And then we use a standardized format for your handle so that if you bring in more Amazing Spider-Man number 70 down the road, we will actually append the quantity and not just like stomp over it and create a second Amazing Spider-Man number 70. So yeah, I see another couple questions. Does it work if we don't have a Shopify site? So no, this is entirely dependent upon Shopify. Without Shopify, this won't work. And the reason for that is because in the future, as we get smarter and understand more about the things that you are selling, we're going to be able to do full like order history. We'll be able to tell what your sales velocity was, that you sold 50 copies in the first week, 20 copies in the second week, 30 copies in the third week. If you don't have a full integration with Shopify, there's no way we're going to have that information. So like that will be the intelligence that will change this from just a cool pull list program to a super intelligent program that will change things. Does the database show older series? For example, if I buy a run of ASM. So not right now. That's kind of a separate product that we're working on. We have a product called Geek Fetch, and that has a massive database of tons and tons of things. As we build that database out, we'll offer that stuff as part of the Managed Comics suite. Aaron Payne, my buddy from the UK, with generated draft orders, will they be able to be pulled into Binder POS? Yes, we will figure that out. We're going to work with our Binder Pause folks and get that stuff all all working. Gen X asks if there's an offline mode. No, there's not, because Shopify is an online platform. The answer to offline mode is your cell phone. You can tether to your cell phone, and I've never encountered a situation where my cell phone didn't work when the internet didn't. So so far, we don't see that as a problem. Also, this is a big thing. This is an online system that's constantly backed up. So with an offline system, all it takes is for a power outage to kill your hardware and you're done, right? This means that you will never lose your data again. On import, are there any fields you can specify, say box location for product for Shopify? I'm not sure if I understand the question. So yeah, if we modify the product info description, will it get overwritten each time we pull? That's a good question. I don't know what the answer to that is. And I don't know if you mean, because the database stuff is not overwritable because it's actually provided by the distributors. If you're talking about like this, if the Sinister War Prelude would get overwritten, that's a great question, and I'm not sure what the answer is. LA Mood, our friend Gord, who my first comic shop I ever worked with was Gord's shop. Will the draft orders work with binder pause? Not sure right now. We'll figure that out soon. Are we able to import customer purchase history? Not right now, because I don't really know how we would do that. But that's something interesting that we can look at. All right, let me get to the good stuff. So we've got our customers all in here. So I've got a whole ton of good customers. Johnny Storm, folks like that, apps. I'm going to kind of put your questions on hold for a couple minutes so that I can get through the beta. But please keep on asking them, because I will go right through and answer them all. So first of all, I kind of glossed by this. Manage Comics has its own app. So when we go into the app, we're going to be launched right now into the customer changes. As we work with our beta customers, we're definitely going to, I don't need to talk into this mic anymore. As we work with our beta customers, we're going to figure out which dashboards would make the most sense to them, and we'll start building those. I'm also not entirely sure if I love it being inside of the Shopify frame. It just reduces the amount of like left-right space we have, which makes this such a pain in the butt to kind of see things. So this could be changing into like its own frame, which doesn't really impact anything. It just makes it like one more step to get back to things like customers. Speaking of customers, here's my customer list. So I have my list of all the comics that all my customers are getting. If I want to find somebody, it's just a quick F, Brian. So if I want to see Brian Garside, I can find Brian Garside super quick. I see what he's subscribed to. If I want to add something new to Brian's list, Cross. Oh, he must already be subscribed to Crossover. Wonder Girl. So he's going to subscribe to Wonder Girl as of the next issue, which is number 3, because number 2 just came out this week. So yeah, the system is smart enough to know what the next issue is that's coming out, and won't subscribe you up to something that is currently on an FOC. I know what the question is going to be. Can you override that? Not right now, but I'm sure we'll definitely add that as an option going forward. The other thing is customer pre-orders, so special order kind of thing. So if somebody wants like a one-off, like a Batman Fortnite hardcover, these things all come up here. So the Batman versus Superman T-shirt is in here. Current customer totals. This just gives me a quick view. Again, this is the left-right navigation thing. Quick view into how many of any specific comic I need to order. And this is really great when, Diamond sends a last minute thing that says, hey, we need your final orders for Death by Life number 4 today. And it's a Tuesday, and you're like, what? Okay. Alrighty. And customer changes is kind of where we started out. So the really exciting thing is doing our pulls. So first of all, it's going to ask me to upload my invoices. So I went ahead and grabbed a diamond and a lunar invoice. So I just pull them over, and Managed Comics is smart enough to know what was on those invoices, what types of invoices they are, and it just creates this for me. So I go through here, and this is actually the intake process where I'm going to count how many copies I got. Hey, I only got 78 copies of Batman. I only got 22 copies of this. I got 21 copies of that. So I go through line by line and confirm how many copies of everything I got. If I end up getting fewer copies than what I have received, it's going to create fewer copies than what I have subscribed to. It's going to create a list of people that aren't going to get that book, and the next time I get them in, it'll actually fulfill those. Exchange rate is only for Canadian customers right now, and this allows us to update this to whatever the exchange rate is. Okay, so this is saying this is what subscriptions I have, and so I can select all these guys. For whatever reason, let's say I didn't want to pull Bunny Mask this week, I could unselect it, but I'm going to go ahead and select them. Import leftover quantities into my store. So this actually lets me create product items for every one of these products that is in this list. So I'm going to go next here. So this is just confirming what I've said I was going to do. You'll see all your subscription quantities, your inventory quantities, and any of these gold ones are ones that I had some shortages on. Confirm that pull, and this is actually what I have to pull. So these are my list of people that I'm going to pull comics for this week. What's cool is that in the background, it's also created orders for all these folks. So there's draft orders for each one of those pulls that just got done. So I know Reed Richard just gets Iron Man, and if he had shipping set up and everything, we would see the shipping price and everything on there as well. Reports. So anybody that missed the comic is going to get. I'm still seeing by Brian. Anybody that missed a comic recently is going to have a subscription product shortage. So the next time that Baby Teeth number 19 comes in, it comes in on an invoice, it's going to automatically pull that for Brian Garside and put it aside for him. Held back products is just anything that I decided not to put onto the store immediately. So it's basically like kind of having a quick view into your back room. And the shortages report is what I didn't. That's weird. There it is. Shortages report is all the stuff that didn't get that I got shorted on this week. So I can call in my shortages really quickly. When I need to do my orders, so we've got initial orders. Right now we've just got Diamond and Lunar, but we'll be adding Penguin Random House this month. So this is an initial order report. Same goes for FOCs. You upload your FOC file and then generate your FOC report. These two things are going to get better and more intelligent over time as we start to add sales data and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and your settings. This allows you to actually edit things like your subscribe to series button, your discount rate, which we now allow for tiered discounting. So you can have, one discount rate or as many as, as you want to have based on the number of recurring subscribable products. This is not based on how many trades they're getting that month or statues. It's recurring subscribable products. You can choose which publishers you offer. So in Canada, we can't offer Boundless. So I've got them unchecked. You can also choose which product types you want to have. So you may want to allow people to pre-order like games, posters, toys, and models. So if you do that, and I go back to this guy and hit refresh, now all the toys and models and prints and things like that, I'm going to get questions about net pricing. We're working on that right now on creating some net pricing rules and how you can sell them. So that is essentially Managed Comics in a nutshell. It's I didn't show you that all those products that we had pulled also got created as products on the site now, and those are available on my sales channels, so online store and point of sale. Yeah, so that's Manage Comics in a nutshell. Let's go through some questions here. I'm gonna pop over here, and I'm gonna go full screen. You get to look at my ugly face for a few minutes. All right, let's go. With other systems, customers get confused in special order books that they're already subbed to. Any way to prevent that? That's a great question, Bob. Yeah, not sure yet. I guess one thing we could do is kind of alert them, but it's like sometimes people want 2 or 3 copies of Skybound X #1, even though they're subscribed to it. So that's a great question. We'll have to put some thought behind that. And like I said, like the easiest thing in the world is to add new features. The hardest thing in the world is to add new features that make sense so that a customer doesn't have to do math in their head on whether or not they're doing something weird. So yeah, the way we usually handle something like that is with some alerts. And so that would make a lot of sense. Big B Comics, to flow off what Adam said, it would all be tied in with what you check in from my understanding, so you could just manually update the items that you're bringing in for old items. Yeah, that would make sense, and you can always you could always edit that stuff for sure. Stephanie asks, will we be able to upload Universal invoices? Yes, I'm working with Alessandro at Universal to get CSV invoices, and once we have those, you'll be able to upload your Universal invoices. Broken Django asked, how is that list ordered? I'm not sure which one it was, but we try and order all lists by customer last name and then by title. And if it's by title, we organize it by title. Farside Comics asks, does the customer pay now or at checkout or at FOC? Right now, they pay at checkout. We're going to look into, especially for pre-orders, deposits on pre-order items, because I think that's an important thing. Like if you're ordering a $300 statue, you're going to need to give me $150 before I place that order. And then FOC for comics, we don't currently have a way of doing that, but that one probably makes a lot of sense. Oh, the list of people not getting stuff. Yeah, that's ordered alphabetically by title right now. Are we able to manually override title pricing outside of the US or offer discounts to our pull list customers? So the discounting is going to be at the customer level, and you'll be able to change either per customer or just have kind of like universal rules. If you want to override it with like a per customer, let's say you have a staff discount that's 45% on everything, or 30%, or I don't know, 28%, whatever it is, you'll be able to override that. In terms of overriding pricing outside the US, so Aaron, you provided me a very lovely file, and we're going to use that as our basis for figuring out UK pricing. And then we'll probably have like some sort of algorithm that'll figure out pricing for you guys. Pull list that generates, is it possible to sort it by item instead of each individual customer? Yes, absolutely. The default is by customer last name, but we also offer the ability to sort it by, I think it's by product and then by pulls by date. So I can sort it by title, sort it by customer first name or last name, and we'll also add customer ID at some point as well. Can you elect for monthly, weekly deliveries or strictly weekly? So right now, there's no kind of restriction on how your deliveries get set up. So we've been talking about maybe adding kind of cumulative ordering. So instead of every single time that we do pulls, we create a separate draft order. we could also kind of just append those draft orders over time so that you get an idea of who's leaving a lot of stuff in as opposed to who's leaving stuff for multiple weeks, if that makes sense. A lot of these decisions are going to come over the next month while we use our beta testers to actually, road test a lot of the things that we've got in theory. I've been working on managed comics for 6 years, so I understand most of the way things work, but every single store works a little differently. So as we road test stuff, we're going to find things out that are going to work better or worse. RJ Forrester says, this is amazing. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to show this off to you guys, seriously. Gen X, so miniseries that only come out every few years will be deleted from the pull list? No, they won't be deleted from your pull list. They'll just be deleted from like the ongoing available kind of listing. But we are going to tie those products together so that if a good example is, I always pick on Guardians of the Galaxy because Guardians of the Galaxy seems to end every like 12 months and start again. So if somebody's subscribed to Guardians of the Galaxy, chances are they want the new Guardians of the Galaxy. So we would just kind of keep those things going so they don't have to resubscribe. Pull list be shown arranged by title? Yep. Does every comic from the pull list get added as a Shopify product, and will the inventory quantity be total minus received what was pulled? Yes. So that was kind of the part of the intake where you can choose to how many quantities to import. If you choose 0, then that product won't get created, but your pulls still happen, and the only thing that gets added to your products are the delta between what was subscribed to and what was pulled for subscribers and what's left over. And that's kind of what was interesting about that screen where it said import remaining. It takes away the subscriptions first before you even see that. So I think I had 80 copies of Batman, and I have 6 subscribers right now. So I had 74 that were able to be moved. Instead of an exchange rate, is it possible to simply assign a value to a comic, i.e. a $3.99 is just fixed at $5 Canadian? Unfortunately, no. We don't have that ability right now, although we will be building that ability for the UK, so maybe it makes sense to give it as an option instead of an exchange rate. Draft orders, does it set a reserved amount of time? Can it automatically email? It does. So it automatically emails customers as soon as those draft orders are created. And actually, there's some rules on that because of the way that Diamond and DC require you, DC can send you all your comics on Tuesday of the week before, but they're not allowed to go on sale until Tuesday. So those emails don't go out. Right now, they're all set to go out on Wednesday mornings. And those emails will go out with all those products. Also, the products don't get created until Wednesday morning. So they get created, but they are unavailable until Wednesday morning for downloads. Can we add our own products such as White Dwarf or Games Workshop? Sure. Yeah, you could add your own products. We don't have a way to add them to our database right now. So as we work with more distributors, like we've been looking at ACD and Asmodee and their products and getting those into our database, you should be able to add all those as well. When you sell through Shopify, does it keep a running total of your costs along with the total price? Yes, it does. How about adding crossovers like Extreme Carnage to his subscription? Great question. That's more of a data issue that we'll be working on over the next few months. We've actually been working with Penguin Random House behind the scenes to create a lot more data structure to their data. So Marvel is the most guilty, although DC is pretty bad for it too. But Marvel obviously has things like Extreme Carnage or the currently Sinister War, and we've created with Penguin Random House something called a group code, or is it a? Anyway, it's a code that lets us tie a storyline together. So for sure, that will be something happening. Can we adjust the title to include what series volume it is? For example, X-Men #1 and then X-Men Volume 6 #1. Sure, you could edit the title, and we can also start looking at stuff like that in our global database if it makes sense. Does the database show older series? Yeah, so I already answered that one. what I mean is, how does the system decide who doesn't get stuff? Ah, that's a great question. So right now, by default, the system, and again, remember, simplicity is kind of our order of the day right now, as we get things up and launching. So the way it works is it goes through and it says who subscribed to it most recently, and those are the people that kind of get cut off. So if you have 10 subscriptions to something, you get 6 copies in. The 4 people who subscribed to it most recently will not get those copies initially. I know there's, I could build an entire interface where you would do a Sophie's choice and decide who's going to get it and who's not. Maybe that makes sense at some point, but honestly, like Wednesdays are already confusing enough without having a ton of extra decisions to make. What about sort by ID? Yeah, we'll add sort by ID. First of all, I've got to get IDs into the system. And right now we don't have customer IDs. Do draft orders created reserve stock? If so, if that draft order was deleted, does the stock go back on sale? I'm not sure right now. We'll have to take a look into that and make sure. Because I know the draft orders have all the metadata. I don't know if they restore stock. Does Managed Comics offer any way of stock location inventory? In box number, no, we don't have that right now. That's an interesting request. Would we have to use both subscription and pre-orders, or can we just do one or the other? Subscription. So, yeah. Subscriptions are for ongoing series, and a pre-order is for one specific issue. So the only real difference between the two things is like the Fortnite Batman hardcover is a pre-order because it's not a series. It's not part of a series. It's a one-off thing. Batman White Knight would be another example of a one-off thing. So those are pre-orders as opposed to a subscription, which is like the current Amazing Spider-Man Nick Spencer trade paperbacks. Those are a series of trade paperbacks, so you can order those. What will you be charging for Managed Comics, and is it still tiered by how many pull list subscribers the store has? Yes, I'll get to that in a couple minutes. At the end of this, I'm going to talk about pricing. Can we restrict quantity purchases to one for certain hot comics? On the front end, I believe you can restrict product sales to how many. What do those pull lists look like after we print them? Pictures or no? There's no pictures on the pull list, no. It's just basically what you saw. You can print that out. Can't assign values to book. How does this work with trade? Because the Canadian on the, right now again, it's just by exchange rate. I know it's confusing. We'll have to figure that out. Just to clarify, you said currently customers can only see A and B covers, so they can only see one variant per each issue. Now, even if there are more variants than one. Yes, that is correct. And the reason of that is Marvel. And if Marvel would get their stuff in gear, we would be able to do this. It's ratioed variants. Right now, we don't have a system for ratioed variants, and there's no system that even identifies ratioed variants. Like in the data, there is literally no data that says this is a ratioed variant. So there's like text, and if we parse that text and get it right, we'll get that. But we're going to build a whole system around that, and it's just going to take a little while longer because it's a data problem, not necessarily a display problem. What if we have multiple branches? Can we import inventory from multiple stores? Yes. Yeah, we'll have the ability to do that. Right now, phase 1, we don't have that, but we will add multiple locations. We have at Managed Comics, we have a number of multiple location stores, so we recognize that. The way Shopify handles multiple locations is kind of ugly, so we kind of got to get our brains around how that works. Like in an ideal world, every single location would just have a new ID, but they don't. In Shopify, they're named like a name. It's really kind of ugly. Maybe I missed this, but will old TPBs be available for pre-order Batman the New 52? So that's a great question. It's basically all of our stuff is based on the current catalog, so it's not really meant to treat Diamond and Lunar as drop shippers per se, where we have a list of back catalog things. Although that's definitely something we could start building, and especially as Diamond and Lunar recognize this is the way the industry is going and start providing that data better. What if the B covers the ratio? And Uh, I don't know. We'll figure it out. If a customer only picks up once a month, is there any way to combine those multiple draft orders? Yeah, so right now there isn't. We'll figure that out over time. I'm sure there's like a draft management kind of thing that we'll need to do. And will Binder Paws get their commission off all these sales? That's a great question, and I'll need to talk with Binder Paws. Chris Bullard from the new GME in Chatham, Ontario. Very good to see you, sir. That's kind of it. So let's talk about the good stuff. So your two questions are going to be: what is pricing going to look like, and what is the launch time? So Managed Comics is a rather expensive proposition. It's a premium product. We have a ton of effort into maintaining our database every month across multiple distributors. So under 100 subscribers, we're going to charge $80 a month. Over 100 subscribers will be $140. It'll be part of your Shopify subscription. I know that's a premium price, and we think that this is a premium product that is intended to get you more subscribers. So you'll have more subscribers, you'll sell more comics, and it'll be easier than ever to do that. In terms of launch date, we're looking at probably August 11th right now. We're currently going through Shopify certification. We thought we were going to go beta test first and then certify. Turns out we have to certify, then beta test, then we'll recertify. But I'm pretty comfortable that that's how things are going to work. So yeah, that's our big announcement. This will have public availability on August 11th, and we're really excited. And this thing that we're going to launch is just the beginning. We have so many plans. I was talking with our dev this morning about integrating live selling. So having an actual Facebook integration so you can do Facebook live selling or YouTube live selling. And we think that kind of stuff will be really cool and really help improve you. Yeah, that's Managed Comics, folks. I'm really excited, and thank you all to all of you who showed up. I see we have 51 viewers right now. I thought I was going to be talking to a couple folks, and so seeing this many is really exciting. And I know there's a lot of anticipation. We've got like over, I think last time I checked, 80 people on our wait list. And yeah, so that's really wonderful to see. So thank you so much for your time today. And if you have any questions, go check out our website, managedcomics.com. If you got specific questions for me, you can reach us at help@managedcomics.com, and we'll get back to you. Thanks a lot, and have a great rest of your day.